So in terms of playbooks, so obviously you've worked with many startups. So if you're selling it to a startup world or a mid market or an enterprise, so is there fundamental basic playbook that exists? And do you sort of believe in that? Okay, just put in this template and this works. Put in this template and this works.
Um, I don't know if there's like a generic playbook. Like I said, one of the things that I look for is someone that can learn. The reason is because 60, somewhere between 50 to 70% of the things that I've done for one company in the same domain and for the same persona and for a similar problem will work for at another company. But the rest is changing, and so I'm constantly iterating on a bunch of things that I've done at various companies, and I'm always like sensitive to, I said this and that's the way they reacted, and so maybe on the next call let's do that, etc. But a couple of things that typically work well for me. First of all, I think business is about people, so I typically like to start every meeting with a few minutes of finding some personal hook. I never do like a 50 minutes demo. I typically start with a bunch of questions, just so I can better understand the use case and the need. And then I typically focus the demo, and it's typically somewhere between 5 to 15 minutes, where I focus on the specific problem that they mentioned, as opposed to like showing the entire product. Other things, while I do a demo, I typically like to ask questions. I show something and I ask them if that's relevant, or I ask them, are we using this tool or another tool? And so again, it's an opportunity to uncover additional information. I always try to leave time for next steps at the end. Always try to I always try to put a meeting before we end the existing meeting. I tried a bunch of tools like I tried a bunch of tools that kind of give you like a data room where you can collaborate with your buyer, and here's the next steps, here's case studies, here's a presentation, etc. I have to say it was depends on the persona and the company. Again, I think there's things that vary. I mean, if there's a free trial and someone can just sign up and start using the product, it's a very different motion than if it needs to be a structured POC where, you have to get on the call with someone and spend 30 minutes configuring something, for example. So, again, that's why I think it varies from one company to another. Typically, I like to target mid-market as opposed to large enterprise. Again, assuming that the need is valid across all tiers of the industry. I like to optimize for number of logos and short sales cycle, and also typically large enterprise. If you're a startup, you're probably at the stage that you don't have necessarily all the bells and whistles of a large enterprise. Large enterprise, people change roles, priorities change. Too many things can go wrong in a relatively long sales process. In mid-market, it's typically, if you're selling to a high growth company, that's probably something they want to check the box on and move on. So they really want to make a decision. They're willing to compromise for, features, maybe even security. They've recently been through those stages, so they many times also understand the stage of a company that has probably more of an MVP than a full-fledged product. And so I find that the ROI, the deal size typically is, relatively the same, but the sales process is much shorter. So maybe it's not the first couple of customers, but, after you have a couple of companies that use your product, see value, willing to pay for that, I slowly move up the market to, mid-market, and then, later on to enterprises.
And how would you define the mid-market?
Varies from industry to industry, but I would say it's typically somewhere between, at one company for me, it was somewhere between 50 to 500. At another company, it was between 100 to 1,000, but it's, kind of somewhere in the range of 1,000 minus employees.